Hey guys, it's Gary back with more information on this vacant land scheme. By now, I know most of y'all have either heard about, and some of you unfortunately may have even experienced this vacant land scheme. To recap what that is, this is where a fraudulent person poses as the seller of a actual vacant piece of property. What they will do is they'll search the records, find out who the owner of a vacant piece of property is. They will create a fake ID for that person. They will then contact you as a real estate agent asking you to list the property. They want to list it very aggressively. They'll even provide you a copy of their IDs because they're all fake IDs. They will email them to you. They may even have telephone conferences with you. Of course, when it goes under contract, they're going to ask for a mail away closing or some type of distance closing. And then at the closing, they'll provide wiring instructions for the lawyer who will then wire the money. Of course, once your buyer takes possession and starts trying to use the property, the actual homeowner or property owner will actually contact them and go, what are you doing on my property? And the whole financial transaction will be revealed as fraudulent. And unfortunately for your buyer is going to lose out because it's a fraudulent transaction. So the seller will keep the property, the actual owner. And that's where you better hope your client bought title insurance to try to protect them against any losses. Now, what is the problem that we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about earnest money. So if your buyer puts earnest money down on one of these transactions, it turns out to be fraudulent, and the lawyers are smart enough to fix that and catch it before it actually transfers title and the deal falls through before closing. What happens to the earnest money? Because we know under our state law that 4057-136 that you have to, in order to release earnest money, have a signed release, a court order, mediation. So what are we going to do in this situation? We're not going to go back to the seller who's fraudulent and ask the seller to sign a release. And who wants to go to court to have a court hearing? And how do you even serve this person who doesn't even exist? It's fraudulent. We don't know who we're serving, so we got to serve them by publication. Is this really all necessary? So this question was brought up by Austin Smallwood to the commission yesterday when our commission meetings. And so what the answer is, Mr. Reinhardt was correct on his answer, which was there is no transaction. It was fraudulent. So there's no contract which this earnest money is tied to. So there's no need for a release or a court order or anything. At this point, because there is no transaction, you are able to release the earnest money directly back to the buyer without getting any release, sign, or court order or whatnot. Keep in mind, very important, keep in mind that you need to make sure you properly document your file, because you don't want to just claim it to be fraud and it turns out it wasn't fraud. It was just a contract that fell through. Then you would get in trouble for releasing the money. So make sure that you protected yourself. But hopefully you'll never be a victim of one of these crimes. Unfortunately, they are pretty rampant right now. But if your buyer does find that they have signed a contract with a fraudulent seller, there is no contract, so the rules of releasing the earnest money doesn't apply. We can release earnest money directly back without the release. All right, hope that helps you. Don't forget, October 3rd at Canal Side, we'll be down there at Beer Keller for our Oktoberfest, raising money for the South Carolina Military Family Care Association. What an incredible organization that helps the families of service members when they're having financial emergencies. 100% of every dollar we raise goes directly to the organization and goes directly to a service member. There's no overhead on either side. And we're really excited to support them now, I think for like our 8th or 9th year now. And it's a lot of fun. We'll have Tokyo Joe as a band, a lot of free beer, a lot of free bratwurst, so brats and beers and bands. So it's going to be a ton of fun. So y'all come on out and enjoy, and we will see y'all there. Take care.